He found out. I need some help. I have been married for 20 plus years, 3 kids almost full grown. I was having an EA for about 3 months. Husband found out because I didn't really hide it. I was ready to leave because of our problems, drinking on his part, health issues on me. No help, anyways. Then all hell broke loose. He talked to my friend, told him to please quit seeing me. My friend said no. As long as I needed him, he would be there for me. I was seeing him almost every day, lots of dirty talk and flirting, mentioned getting hotel rooms, going for drives, but nothing ever happened. I told my husband I had feelings for him and he started going crazy. He would show up at my friend's work when I was there, freak out, call him and threaten to call his wife. We agreed not to see each other until after Christmas, and we really haven't, but it is haunting me. I miss him so much. My husband has changed for the better. But how long is that going to last? It didn't start off like this, and we've been friends for years. Attracted to each other but never acted on it. So don't make it sound like I went out to do this with a married man. It's not like I went on Ashley Madison or something. I just don't know if my marriage is worth saving. It's been rough for probably 15 years, and this friend is leaving me alone. It's me that is having trouble leaving him alone. Is it not possible to be in love with 2 people at the same time and need them for different reasons? I don't want to hurt my husband any more than what I already have, but I can't shake my feelings either. I haven't had any contact with him for almost 2 months now, but it is so hard. I think about him every day. I think maybe I need counseling, and my husband withdraws about it every couple of weeks. Then I get upset with him because that is what made all this happen in the first place. It would then not make things worse if his wife found out. I would love to tell her, then maybe she would leave him and I'd be in the free and clear. My husband wanted to do that until he realized that this is maybe what we wanted. My friend even told his wife a bit about everything, and she just had a remark to say about me. So, I don't think that plan will work either. My husband is having a really hard time with it. I really didn't think he would care when it first started. I had been trying to talk to him about our problems for years, but he wouldn't listen. As soon as there's another guy involved, then it's a different story. That upsets me too. He wouldn't work on the problems before, but now I begin to maybe be happy with someone else, and now he cares. Explain that one. That makes me very angry at him. I still want to talk to him because we have left things unfinished, and it bugs me. Don't know if he will meet to talk to me now because of my husband have hurt feelings. Don't know what to do. I don't know how to figure it out why it took this to get his attention, number 1. Number 2, what do I do if I am not really attracted to him that much anymore? I feel so guilty. I do love him, but not like in love with him anymore. I am afraid, and he has told me he will make my life a living hell. Basically, he says he will make us lose everything and doesn't care about house or kids, and he wasn't yelling, said it very calmly. When do you know if it's too late, if the hurt is too far gone? I can't get over him getting drunk again when I was told that I might have cancer and I had to take care of him again. I had it, and that's it. Now he is not drinking and being very attentive, but will it last, and is it too late? I am so attracted to my friend. He is religious, and that's the only reason nothing happened physically, because I really wanted to. So did he, but he said we made vows to spouses in front of the Lord, family and friends, which is right, but now I don't care. I've been unhappy for 15 years. Do I have to suffer another 15? I want to be happy for the next 20. Suffer anymore. We have never separated. I told him I was talking to my friend every day. I found out I was sick back 6 months ago, and that weekend he got drunk. Not because of me, that is just what he does. So that was the end of that. I had had enough of him not caring and all about him. I do not agree with you about your so-called contract. As far as I'm concerned, he voided our contract years ago with his drinking and not caring about me. So, excuse me if I don't give a damn right now about the contract. Now I'm the bad guy because I've had enough and want to be happy for the next years to come. I think not. Comments. Do you have a bad marriage? Definitely. Does it make it okay to have an affair? Never. If your marriage is so bad, divorce him. Then see if you can find someone else to replace him. But to cheat while you are married is never acceptable. No matter how your husband treats you, you're a grown-up. Do the grown-up thing and either divorce your husband or give up the man you're cheating with. OP responds, I am just very upset, I guess, because I have tried for years to get him to stop and be a real husband, and I have faults too. Not as serious as the drinking. Anyways, I did not mean anything against you. I have some good news. I have been feeling better about everything, not thinking so much about my friend. I did talk to him about business last week, but it was short and sweet and just business. My husband hasn't been drinking and is really being awesome after my surgery for the cancer scare. He finally had to take care of me for a change, and he did awesome. Something else no one knows, he's been in hospital 5 times, and I've done everything for him for months at a time because I love him and made commitment to him to do that. I get all that. I know it's not an excuse to have an emotional affair. I didn't plan to have one, it just sort of happened. Thought I would share that I think we're on the right track finally. We are getting close again because he is actually talking to me now and not drinking nearly as much. We still have a way to go, but we are at a good start. For now, trying to get into counseling, but a 3-month wait. I can't believe it. I haven't seen my friend in over 2 months. The emotional affair has stopped. Talked business on the phone once, that's it. I have been trying and spending every moment I possibly can with my husband trying to get things on track. It is actually working. I'm having a real hard time today. All I want to do is cry. I have got so much stuff on my mind, and now how do I be honest with my husband about missing him without hurting him? He thinks everything is okay, but he knows I'm upset but thinks it is work. I told him it's not all work, and I'm upset with myself for being miserable again. Me being miserable and moody is what started everything in the first place. I think I need serious help quickly. Everyone I know that has had an affair has left their other half and is still with that person as well. I don't think I was ever in a fog. I know what I was doing. The only reason I am still here, as I said before, was because of Christmas and my son coming home from university. But now my husband has changed for the better and we are communicating a lot better. So, I am working on it. But if or when it begins to change again, I will probably leave, because I know I need to be happy and deserve it. Not to stick around for kids or house, or because I made a promise that he broke years ago and I've been trying to rebuild for years. And that is what people don't get on here. I've been trying for years. So if this time it doesn't work, I'm done. It has nothing to do with the friend, and everything to do with us. Had a talk last night with my husband. He knows I'm still upset about my friend. I told him I still need to see someone for help. I don't know what's wrong with me. My husband is bending over backwards and all I can do is think of another man. I even emailed him, but no response. I know I'm an idiot. Have to stop thinking about him. Don't know how, and told my husband all this too. Can't stand hurting him like this, but I think he is alright because I was open with him. How long is this going to take? My husband was thinking earlier, did I get myself in such a week that maybe it's not worth it and maybe we should just end it for a while? He was thinking this a couple of days ago, but now everything is okay again. I don't know, help please. Should I maybe take the weekend and go somewhere? But I'm afraid I will end up with my friend. But don't know if he wants anything to do with me now. I'm hurting any way I look at it. How did I get myself in such a mess? Few months later, my husband and I had a talk the other night. He really told me his feelings, which is good because he doesn't usually talk. He said he thinks about the Ia every day, and if I talk or see Tom we are done and he will put the house up for sale. He also said he has thought about ending his life a few times over this ordeal as well, and I could tell that from time to time. My husband also is acting very insecure. I guess that is normal. He gets mad or silent treatment if I even talk to another man, young or old, and I am in retail, so I talk and see people all day long. So, this is wearing really thin with me because he works with me on Sundays and we end up arguing about different things. Yes, he changed his shift so we always work Sundays together, and he also meets me every day for lunch just so he can keep an eye on me. He is smothering me a bit and I don't know how to make him feel any better. He wants me to tell him I'm staying and I can't tell him anything right now. We are working on things together. Going to counseling. Sleeping in the same bed, having the greatest bedroom life we've ever had, really. But he says he can't get past things and doesn't know how to get things out of his head. I don't know what I'm supposed to do to help him, and it kind of is getting me angry now because everything is good, then he brings it up every couple of weeks and we get into it. I feel like I might as well have slept with Tom, at least then he would have a good reason to be so pissed. We are spending lots of time together, but when he acts like this now, he is driving a wedge through us again like before, and I told him I'm not going to take this anymore. I can't. It's driving me mad. We have done the emotional needs and love busters. He is just very needy all the time, and you are right, he needs to show me a bit of strength, but he can't right now. I just don't know what to do to help him. He has been acting like a puppet, doing everything for me and hanging on every word I say since Oct. It has taken its toll on him. I guess. I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel for us. I'm not right either. I'm gaining weight and can't seem to quit thinking of things. Everything just seems to be getting worse. I almost wish I hadn't have been honest with him until I know what I am going to do. It just made everything a lot more complicated. But I know he needed a chance to work with me to fix things, just it's maybe too far gone. I have stopped seeing him again because now his wife is sick and I have to give them space. I am trying to let them work their troubles out too. I am very confused, and I believe that you can have feelings for more than one person. We have known each other for 10 years and there has always been an attraction. We still have never done anything because of us being married. Please let me know what else I have to do to get my life back on track. 3 years later, I have an update on my situation. I am now divorced and living with the man that I had an emotional affair with and resulted in a full physical affair. My ex-husband has moved on with another woman and is happy. I think. I went through a nasty separation and divorce, ended up in jail and restraining orders because of abuse. It was very hard and I do have regrets on how everything went down for me. I did break it off with the other man for a time, and that's when I left my husband as well. I did some soul searching and seen other people, then ended up back with the emotional affair man that ended up being a full relationship for both of us. My regrets are with my children, as they have been dealt the worst of it all, with us losing our home and they had to start being adults really quick. I am very sorry for that. It was their decision though to do that. I wanted them to stay with me, but they had other plans. So sometimes everything does work out in the end. Comment, what a story, what a mess. I mean, I kind of respect her. She went through all this crap just to get with the affair partner. For her, the affair partner worths more than her kids, husband, and home. When you see people like this, just run. Story 2. Well, I knew there were a lot of crummy things about my marriage, but I never thought I would be posting here. Forgive me if this is a jumbled mess. It's 4 a.m. I haven't slept and just heard the words come out of my husband's mouth, and I'm completely heartbroken. I don't even know where to start. Going back to when I first started posting here in short summary. H is 35. I'm 31, been together almost 13 years, married for 5. Have a 4-year-old son. He had med problems. Went to rehab 4 years ago. Has been lying to me throughout. He is back on it now. I thought that was what he was hiding from me. Been snooping a little. Not much. Enough to know he was using again. Told him we need total honesty. He agreed. Told me when he slipped up again. Thought there was a decent sign. Fast forward to today. Left his normally guarded phone at home before work. I snooped. Found a frowny face text I thought was weird. Lots of other weird stuff, but that one stuck out. Checked it. Came back with no name. Checked the phone records. Seemed like a lot of texts back and forth. Thinking this is his dealer. Realize it is not when I see he did not talk to this person for days before or after the day he told me he got meds. Starting to think it is a woman. I am shaking when he comes home. Tried to be strong. Asked him who this was. Comes back with a guy he works with. He's getting meds from him. I tell him I think he is lying to me. He has nothing to say. I went outside to smoke. I wanted more proof before I confronted. Once I put it all together, after he had gone to sleep, I know it's a woman. Texts are late at night sometimes, and he is always texting her when I am out of town. I can't sleep. He comes out of the room at 3:45. Why am I still up, he asks. Because my heart is beating too fast to sleep, I tell him. I tell him to tell me who it is. He will not. He is speechless. After a few ducks me, and whatnot, says, her name is Pam. She gives me free meds. No, I tell him, that is not all. He then throws a fit, does the blame shift, no privacy crap, and slams the door. I have stayed very calm. No raising of the voice. I smoke again, come back in and ask if he is done yelling. He said yes. I told him I know what is going on. He can either tell me and we can maybe work on things, or he can deny it, and one of us is leaving tomorrow. Tells me I can't take his son. I say I can, and I will have custody drawn up. I will give him all the visitation he wants. He asks if we can talk about it tomorrow. I say I won't ask any questions right now, but I need to hear it come out of his mouth. Finally, he says you're right. Ouch. I'm devastated, but I haven't even cried yet. Maybe this is the get out card I needed. I don't even know what kind of help I am asking for. I just needed to get all of this out of me. What are the questions I need to have for him tomorrow? I know some I want answered, but are there some standard questions the cheater should be asked? What about my son? I can take him, can't I? Do I need an attorney? We don't have much money and I am a stay-at-home mom. I don't have health insurance for STD test. How nuclear should I get on the exposure? I have a mental list of about 20 family and friends that I know I need to tell. Both sets of parents, his sister, his best friends, the couple we do everything with, his sponsor. If I don't tell everyone he knows, is that okay, as long as those that are most important to us know? Right now, I have no clue who the O is or if she has the H. I plan to find that all out tonight. Should I wait with the exposure until I find that out? The people that really love me I really want to tell now. I need a hug. Can I tell my parents and our couple, who are closest with me, now? I don't want to mess up telling the OWH and can hold it in for 12 hours until I know some answers. That is the smart thing to do. When I talk to him, is it okay for me to have notes or a letter so I don't let him sidetrack me and I get out all the questions I need? I feel so flustered. It would really help to have my cliff notes. I wouldn't feel like I am trying to get revenge by exposing to OWH. If there is one, it is the right thing to do. I wish someone would have told me. I do feel a little bit of revenge in the others, I admit, just because I feel like I have been putting on this facade for a while. That we are the perfect couple everyone thinks we are when we were far from it. Protecting my son is number one for me right now. It kills me how much he loves his dad and how our life as a family may be over. I sent my best friend from childhood an email, asked her if I could talk to her about some serious stuff. I trust her more than anything. She does not know my husband, and while everyone's advice here has been so helpful and made me feel so much better, I know it will also make me feel better to confide in someone who has been close to me all these years. And the exposure won't get out yet since she is not a part of the H in my immediate life, and I can finally get a good cry in. I think I need it. I do have a second account. I set it up while he was in rehab. It has a whopping $50 in it right now, but I am inheriting $22,000 and will have a big chunk of change from taxes. And I will put a good amount of that in there. I will absolutely make sure I have everything in place before I leave, if I do leave. That sounds so scary right now. Thank you for the support. Must take my boy to the grandparents. Most important thing first, there is an OWH. I have his name, very common last name. I have his address. I have his home phone number, but he is apparently out of town a lot, so I do not want to call that and get the O. This is where it gets a little tricky. Found an email address for him and a separate one for the O. His address was linked to Facebook as having a profile. Took a look at the profile and it was a profile never filled out and no friends added under her name with her status as single. I figure this could be one of two things. 1. This is a secret email address for her. She signed up with Facebook in order to meet other men, then thought better of it. 2. This is her husband. She has cheated on him before and he signed up thinking he could catch her in some way or contact that OM through Facebook. What do you guys think? Obviously, I don't want to send anything if this is the O. I am trying my best to find a cell number but haven't had luck yet. Suggestions on best places to find it. I think he may be a customer at DH's work, and I can have a friend look his name up in the database. This is done all the time at DH's work, not against policy in any way, and my friend would not be in trouble if he did this. Should I ask? Told friend in question and his fiancée about the last night. And they are 100% behind me telling the OWH. Onto the conversation with DH. He was willing to answer most of my questions. He was definitely trickle-truthing me, sugarcoating. Would tell him he was and he would start to get upset claiming the old can't remember specifics. I realized this early, so I thought it would be best to get through all the questions and my conditions before he shut down completely. I can get back into the specifics later. That was Sunday night, and yesterday I did not really see him because I went to spend time with my friends. He was asleep when I got home at 10:30. What I found out, he met her at work. She was a customer of his. He is a retail store manager. It has been going on for about a year. I had proof for 6 months. She is 53. Wow, he claims it started when she came into his work. Somehow her taking meds came up and he asked her if she shared. How do you even have a conversation like this with a customer? It is beyond me. Said he was getting free meds from her for a while, then when he went over to her house one day to get them, she asked what was in it for her. He said he would give her money. She said she wanted a good time. Once again, who says this? So, he claims it went on from there. But it only happened 4 times, in a year. Please, and it was only so she would give him meds. He has no feelings for her. Admitted it was exciting and different when I suggested he shouldn't be able to perform if it really did just make him feel disgusted, as he first said. Did tell him if he was having a good time for meds, he is using himself. That seemed to hit pretty hard. The trickiest parts of the conversation. Asked him if he was willing to stop using. He said he would try, but he shook his head not as he said it. Red flag. I did tell him he did that and I could not believe him. Agreed to all my conditions, NC letter. Complete transparency. Calling me from his work number before he came home instead of by cell. STD test, MC. To give me all of his past and future pay stubs. It records every break, lunch, etc., except rehab. Says he does not want to go again. Learned everything he could learn and we cannot afford it. Told him that was putting a price on our marriage and that if he was still using, he has not come to terms with the issues that are driving him to use. He made a counteroffer of 90 meetings in 90 days and I see to work on his personal issues. Told him that was a good start. I am not backing off the rehab condition, but it seems like most people here have had a sticking point at the beginning in their terms. I am hoping once I have completely exposed and he has others in his ear, his opinion might change. Said he has not called the OW to tell her I knew. Told him not to. The no contact letter would do that for him. Said he would not, and the only reason he was going to was to tell her I knew it was over and not to worry. I wouldn't tell her what. Thank goodness it was dark while we were talking because I know my face probably turned beet red. The good things. In every fight we have ever had, I have been at fault. Not the case here. He told me I am the best wife he could ask for and I have done nothing to deserve what he has done. In a way, I am feeling better about myself. I have always been a doormat and I feel like I have taken the power back. I feel strong. I feel mentally prepared to I have given him the terms of R. And it is up to him now to follow through with that. I can leave without feeling I haven't done all I could. It is in his hands now. I would also like to make clear that not only contacting the O would be a deal breaker. Contacting anyone he gets meds from is a deal breaker. I have really realized what wonderful friends I have. I have also come to terms that God would not put me through this if he did not think I could handle it. I prayed last night and actually thanked him. I know while this pain is tough, I will come out a stronger, happier and better person because of this. One last thing, I'm planning the rest of my exposures for tomorrow. Friend that already knows that works with him is off for the next 2 days and I explained there were more people I needed to tell before they spoke with him. But it would be done by the time he went to work Thursday. He has told me it only got physical 4 times in a year. If I had only been with him 4 times in a year, I think I would remember a little about what happened each time. And as I said in beginning, he can remember things pretty exactly when nothing happened, which is strange. This really is all for naught though after some things I found out this afternoon. He has lied to me about how he met her. She was a co-worker instead of her coming into the store one time. I now know exactly who this woman is. Since I know he is still lying, I don't think I can continue with the marriage. Once I cooled down, couldn't find her age, and had a pretty good idea she wasn't insane. I contacted her. Wow, am I glad I did. If I hadn't, I would be thinking things were going pretty well with DH. He has done what I have asked of him and is talking to me a lot. Now, I have figured out he is still lying to me about some pretty serious stuff. Leo is singing like a bird, especially now after a few emails, and she is figuring out how badly my DH played her, and she is getting angry. I of course don't like this woman and am royally angry she did this to our family. I am taking what she says with a grain of salt. I know the whole truth is somewhere in the middle, but I do feel badly for her in a way. I can see what a manipulative liar my DH is. I know how he has manipulated me, told me how much he cares and loves me, but then just did whatever he wanted to make himself feel good. I can see he has done the same thing to her. Am I crazy? Has anyone else ever felt this way? Still am working on getting all the info. Then plan to confront with all the things he has lied to me about. He is scheduling a MC appointment, and I am thinking that may be the time to confront. Any suggestions? I have told him nothing he can tell me is a deal breaker. But if I find something out down the road he lied about, that would be a deal breaker. Of course, he is still lying about some of these things, not stuff he would forget. Fundamental things about the affair. WH and I separated almost 4 weeks ago. I asked for it. I needed time to work through my feelings by myself. And I had also reached the point where I felt like I had to start pulling out the big guns to show I was no longer going to be a doormat. Some things have gotten better. I feel like I am being treated with more respect. But there are 2 big things that stand in the way of our effort. He tells me he is willing to do whatever it takes repeatedly. When I give him specific things he can do, he does do them, eventually. For example, I asked him to read the first chapter in a book, 20 pages. Because it described how I was feeling better than I could myself. He read it 2 weeks later when he had the time. Before D-Day, he would have never read the book. Sometimes I feel like I am being unreasonable. That I should look at it as an improvement. Most times I think if he is too busy to take a half hour to make our marriage better, this will never work. The biggest lie he has been telling me that I know is untrue is what their text messages and calls were about. He says 95% were about meds. I can't go back and read them, but I know it's about 50-50. He's not texting her about meds at 1 a.m. He's not after he already got them from her earlier in the day. And he's definitely not when he has told me she was out so he had to make a doctor's appointment to get meds, but is still texting her 50 times that day. And 20-minute phone calls are not about meds either. Does it really matter to me what they are about? No. I would accept the answer you're right. That was not about meds. But the answer he gives me is no. That was about meds. He has also told me multiple times he never took off his ring. When I said it was tarnished now, he said he did take it off when they had a good time. Said that was conflicting info. He says he just remembered he took it off. The red flags I see but have no real proof one way or another. They only kissed once at work. This is why I asked him about the work phone calls, which morphed into looking at her. Bad feelings about this. That he wore a condom. That is a general red flag anyway. It is increased by the fact that OW is past her childbearing years and that he said he knew for a fact she was clean. What would be the point in wearing one then? That they only had a physical time once in a year. Low common sense. Combined with OW telling me they had a good time once but described a different time than WH did in the pattern of texts. Calls when I would be out of town. Honestly, the hasn't been top priority. His addiction has, and that is how I prefer it. A lot of the came from his addiction, and I don't believe he would have entered into it with this woman had it not been for meds. He gave me no problems with NC and has not spoken to her since D-Day. I won't deal with having an addict H any longer. The affair is gone, and quite frankly the years of meds made talking to him about anything affair related into lies, anger, blame shifting etc. It got us nowhere. So, while I have been working on myself, he has worked on himself, and I have been patient that once his med fog lifts, we will be able to deal with the things have gotten better on that front. I felt like things were going pretty well until the 1-year D-Day anniversary. I have been a good, not perfect, wife. I have not treated him with anger or contempt. I do nice things for him. I don't nag or try to control anymore. We have a good time a few times a week. Whenever he'd like. I wasn't having one of my better days and was kind of withdrawn. He asked me what was up and I said it was D-Day anniversary. He was visibly annoyed and said he didn't know how long he could deal with me being down about something that happened so long ago. I asked if that meant he thought I should be over it, and he said, well, I can only take like 6 more months. I was furious but kept my cool. Said I thought I had been a good wife. Examples given. And could he tell me what was so bad he couldn't deal with? Me being sad sometimes was all. I told him it is hard to get over something that he still hadn't told me the truth about and that we couldn't talk about without him getting angry, and that I felt that getting over it meant I was willing to accept his lies and avoidance of the topic, which was not okay for me. That got me the silent treatment for a few days. I added that if he was not ready yet, this does coincide with his 12-step work. That was fine, but to let me know he was working on it. Well, 6 weeks later I finally say something since he hadn't, and he rolled his eyes. Said he talked to his AA sponsor and would not tell me anymore. I asked why it took so long to tell me that, and he said he doesn't like talking about it. I asked if I kept my cool while discussing AA. Do I attack him? How can we talk about it better? Just don't want to. Makes him feel uncomfortable. Don't you think I was uncomfortable for 6 weeks waiting? Didn't consider that. I finished by saying we were at an impasse I didn't know how to deal with. Me wanting the truth, him not willing to tell me. He had nothing more to say. A few days later he said he would tell me it wasn't just once he slept with O. It was 2 or 3 times. He couldn't remember. Couldn't tell me when. Obviously, this is still not the whole truth. I was tired of banging my head against the wall though and said thanks for that. I hope you will continue to get some of this off your chest. In one of our Get Over It talks he said he has made his position clear, and I said I have heard his position as he has said he's sorry. There is nothing else he can do and it's up to me now. He said that was playing the victim. I said I'm not trying to, but I have asked him for truth. I have suggested he read articles on surviving an affair, to be open to talking about the without getting angry, and he hasn't done any of them. So I am feeling like it is up to me. Wow, this is long already. Sorry. My biggest problem is what I see as a lack of remorse. The rug sweeping, gaslighting is all stuff I have dealt with for a long time because the same stuff applies to addiction. I have had faith he will change these behaviors through his 12-step work. I have seen it happen. Sometimes I wonder if it will. Our relationship is better in a lot of ways. I actually think it is a good work in progress. He just doesn't seem to think it should still be in progress. Half a year later, I just finished my 12th step. This is pretty amazing to me considering where I was not very long ago. I walked into my first meeting April 1st of last year. What an April Fool's joke. Scared, royally pissed off and totally broken. I think I cried the whole meeting for the first month. A few things kept me coming back. 1. My son loved going to the childcare and begged to go back. I couldn't disappoint him. 2. The woman who eventually became my sponsor was running the newcomers meeting and her husband had just had a relapse. I couldn't believe how together and sure of herself she was in the midst of crisis. I wanted that. 3. There was a man sitting next to me, a big, burly biker dude and double winner who gently touched my hand after I shared and was bawling my eyes out and told me he was so sorry that I was going through all this and it would get better. It really meant something to me that this tough guy could be so gentle and caring. It spoke to me about the program. It gave me hope for my age. Looking back at it today, I see very clearly how God was working in my life. I have changed so much. Today when I look at myself in the mirror, I see a strong, smart, beautiful woman who is capable of so much. I love myself for who I truly am and am willing to be myself. I can state my feelings and desires without thinking the world is going to end if I do. I see more positives than negatives, and even when I'm in a giant pile of horse crap, I can say at least I'm not in a pile of elephant crap. I see opportunity in the midst of crisis. I can let go of results, control, and anxiety. I believe my higher power will lead me and am willing to let that happen. I understand myself and my reactions better. I am grateful for what I do have instead of focusing on what I don't. I am okay not being perfect. I am worthy of love and the life I want, and I am capable of making that possible. He has been sober since February of last year and is attending both AA and NA. He went to rehab almost 6 years ago but did not stay sober very long. I think this is his longest period of sobriety. Life is not all unicorns and rainbows, but I'm making it through. It never will be perfect, but I love knowing how much I can learn in the crap as long as I have the willingness to do so. My comment: what do you guys think about this second one? I guess they might have a chance after the affair because the husband is willing to change, for himself and his family. You agree? Comment down below. Sub and bell and I